So the peri and the post-menopause sleep disruption is a huge issue for women in undermining health, performance at work, and quality of life, as well as taking steps to optimize nutrition, addressing stress, and establishing a supportive sleep hygiene routine. What other avenues can be explored in relation to sleep? And if I could ask Alison, if you're happy or are you happy to look at that one at this stage?
Yeah, I think Sheena was going to answer it.
Sorry.
I think, yeah.
Sheena, go on, Sheena, you answer. I forgot completely.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Well, menopause is pretty complicated, all in all, isn't it? I mean, there's an awful lot of things going on in the menopause. It's not just the hormone changes that happen. There's a very good book called The XX. I don't know if anybody, The XX Brain, and it's written by a neuroscientist in America. And she's done some really interesting studies where she's looked at women's brains throughout their life. And interestingly, there's a lot of changes around the menopause. So there's shrinkage of various areas of the brain in the menopause, and there's increased amyloid plaque formation in the brain around menopause as well. And it varies between people, but some people have quite a degree of this. And obviously us women are more prone to dementia as we get older. And this is thought to be, a potential indicator of that. So there's a lot of brain changes happening. Some of these brain changes are happening within our sleep centers in our brain. For example, the amyloid plaque formation is generally in the midfrontal zone, which is one of the main sleep centers. And so, some of the sleep disruption that we're experiencing around the menopause could be related to that. It's not definitive, but we know that these things are happening. And then, of course, you've got things like your night sweats. So that's sort of acute peripheral vasodilation. It's sort of an abnormal dilation of our blood vessels, causing us to heat up very dramatically, very quickly. These hot flushes can last anywhere from sort of 4 minutes to an hour, 4 minutes to an hour. And essentially, when they're happening, they're very uncomfortable. We often have to change our bedrooms in response to that. We have to change to a much cooler room, open windows. That may not be compatible with what our partners like. So that can cause problems in that respect. When you live in a cold country like Scotland, and you have this very thick duvet, I imagine it's going to cause you some problems when you go through the menopause. So there's that side of things. Even despite the hot flushes, there's some disruption in our sleep-wake cycle in the menopause as well. And then on top of it all, we feel more anxious and we feel more stressed. So we're much, much more prone to getting anxiety. And actually, we don't deal with stress as well postmenopausally. So we're less good at managing our daily stress. And of course, we don't know what's chicken and egg in all of this, what starts first, but essentially, all of these things are happening to us at the menopause time, and they can all contribute to disruptions in our sleep. And once you've got that sleep disruption, that merely adds to our stress and our anxiety, and it makes us more tired, and it makes us more ratty, and it probably increases our symptoms of hot flushes as well. And of course, once you get into that pattern of insomnia, that can worsen our amyloid plaque buildup in our brains as well, because our GCSF system is affected by that as well. So there's a whole lot of things going on in the menopause, and we're only just really discovering more about this, and we're yet to really come up with lots of good ways of managing it. But essentially, there have been some studies that have shown some improvements with menopausal women and insomnia, and things like CBT has been shown to be quite effective for insomnia in the menopause. So that's worth trying. And then, of course, all the lifestyle things, because if you're overweight, you're more likely to get more hot flushes. So keeping your weight low is important. If you are, stressed and anxious already, then that's only going to make these symptoms worse. So tackling our stress levels is important as well. If we're eating the wrong kind of diet, then that's going to worsen our sleep problems. So you know, coming back to all the lifestyle pillars is really, really important as well around the time of the menopause, and it's a good time to sort of reinforce all of these pillars. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to say on that.
Great, Sheena. One of the thoughts that's come to me is my wife said to me that nobody ever tells you that you're going to feel anxious when you're in the menopause, and I just wonder whether there needs to be better education done in a way with children in the schools at a particular age, with especially, you know, with teenage girls, that if they're told a bit more about what might happen, obviously it has to be handled very carefully, but if they're more aware of the fact that anxiety or feeling anxious is something that you can kind of almost, I don't want to use the word expect, because that can cause problems, but in terms of when they have that feeling, they won't worry so much, potentially. There is that argument. And I wonder, Michael, from a point of view of obviously your interaction across from children through to adults as well, whether there's anything relates with that to you.
So I think one of the pieces of work that we're most proud of over the last few years that we've done from the Children's Hospital at Evelina is we worked with the PSHE Association, which I always forget what PSHE stands for, Personal, Social, Health and Economic Education in Classes. This, annoyingly, is something that only applies in England. However, we worked with them to be able to build sleep lessons at every key stage of the English PSHE curriculum a few years ago, so that is now integrated into the curriculum. Teachers have access to a whole range of lessons, and it's exactly those points. It's about trying to give kids, and we think in kind of a stealth ninja kind of way, we educate the children and then they go home and educate their parents, which is quite helpful, about exactly that, you know, the changes that come in sleep. We want to be teaching 9 and 10-year-olds about the changes that are going to happen in sleep as part of their adolescence before they get to be, you know, cantankerous teenagers who don't want to be told what to do. So the more that we get that groundwork in, the more that we make the conversation about sleep public health, you know, this is a positive lifestyle, everybody should be doing this and thinking about this, sleep is one of the pillars of health, all those kind of things, then actually the better we think we prepare people for those conversations they may be having later in life. So I think absolutely that, building that in, that kind of idea that sleep changes, lots of things affect sleep, this is why sleep's important, this is the simple things you can do to do it. We would really want those conversations to happen earlier. On my to-do list for a very long time was to do the equivalent bit of work with the Scottish government, but then, you know, life and COVID and everything else has happened and I still haven't got around to doing it. But the PSHE Association work is available nationally across the whole UK and can be accessed by anyone. So it's all there, all that information, if people want to make use of it in schools. And we think it's a really important conversation to have.
Brilliant, thank you. So Sheena, obviously you want to add in?
Yeah, just really to add that I think that education is great before the event, and actually, you know, we're not great at talking about menopause until it happens, and we do need to get better at that, because I think, you know, preparation is a good thing. And also, you know, in terms of preventing worse menopausal symptoms, you know, if lifestyle factors actually do make a difference, then, you know, we could be taking steps before the menopause to help ourselves with that, and so that's important. But I think you've got to remember that nowadays, us women who are going through the menopause are doing a lot more day to day, and we're putting an awful lot of demands on ourselves. And I think that that's probably adding to the problem. Perhaps if we had less stressful lives in general, we would actually cope slightly better with the menopause. But right now, you know, we're managing jobs, our house, our children, grandchildren. You know, there's an awful lot of things going on when they're in the menopause time. And, you know, for a lot of women, the menopausal symptoms start in their 30s. So, you know, you can be sort of perimenopausal at that time in your life, and you know, that's a time in your life where you're probably at your most busy. So you know, sleep deprivation is really unwelcome at that stage in our lives, and you know, that this all these symptoms and all these problems and our anxiety levels going up and everything is a major problem for us. So we need to come up with some better solutions, and we need to talk about these things and get them out in the open, and hopefully learn from each other as well on this.
Okay, great, thanks.